see things in terms of glass. I guess from working with glass all these years, I look at things and I'll get an idea and it'll translate in my mind to a glass object. And it's not like a literal, like I'll watch a TV show and suddenly want to make something that I saw. It's more like a feeling that I'll get from watching something or listening to music, or something clicks in the brain. It kind of manifests itself through the glass. I really like what I call the combination of industry and artistry that goes along with glass blowing. So this is the first gather, and I'm going to blow the initial bubble into this. Then we're going to put the glass that Reagan's shaping up at the glory hole, we're going to overlay that on top of this clear bubble. So if you watch the end of this, I just trap some air in there and the bubble will just sort of magically appear in the end of the pipe there. That's the first layer of glass. This will probably get about 4, maybe 5 layers of glass over top. We're going to put the overlay on now. So she'll bring it over, she'll stand like here, and we'll drop the glass on there, and then we'll overlay onto the clear. And then I'll push it on with the paddle, and I'll roll it on the marver to push that overlay over top of the clear, and then it'll totally cover that, and then we'll put clear on top of it, layer by layer. When you're blowing glass, you really need to have a specific plan or idea of what you want to make before you start, because it's such an involved technique and you can't really leave it. Once you start making something with hot glass, you can't just walk away and go have lunch and come back later and finish it. You have to be right there with it from start to finish. Very sophisticated tool here. It's a piece of wadded up newspaper that we wet with water, and it stops the water stops the paper from sticking to the glass. It creates like a little pad of steam between the glass and the paper. Blow a little bit. That way I can actually shape it with my hands. So I'm actually holding on to a piece of glass that's around 2,000 degrees with this piece of paper. And I can shape it as Scala's blowing into the pipe and blow harder. She's blowing the bubble up, and I can shape the outside of it with this newspaper. You can see the coordination between the glass blower and the assistants is very important. It's almost impossible to blow glass by yourself. Usually you have at least one assistant, sometimes 2, or even more, depending on the size and how involved the piece is. One thing that I really liked about glass blowing was I feel like I'm part of something that's old, because it's been done the same way for centuries and centuries. It's the same exact tools. The same process when it's done by hand, when it's not done by machines. It's the same process as it's been done for hundreds of years. So I feel like I'm doing something that's has a long tradition. I really like that. Once you master the technique, then there's all these opportunities that open up within it to express yourself. The way that I choose to do it is by painting the glass pieces once they're finished. When I'm painting, it's a totally different kind of a space that I get into, because I'm in there and the studio is very quiet, and I sort of go into another realm where my mind can sort of go other places, and I can really get more into like the imagery and the surface that I'm painting on the pieces. And I can actually sort of kind of escape into the thing that I'm painting on. My mind and my hand almost become like one. When it's really good, when everything's really good, and everything's flowing well, it's kind of like I don't really know what I'm doing. It's like my hand and my mind are sort of the same thing. I always saw myself as an artist. I always wanted to be an artist. I always wanted to be an artist that made a living off of what I was doing, and I'm doing that. So part of that is to pass that along to other people and teach people. I have interns that come from the Maryland Institute, and I teach apprentices. We teach classes, teach workshops on the weekends here. And I get a great deal of satisfaction seeing that being passed along, and someone that I teach becoming a professional and then going out and making a living at glass blowing. It just makes me feel great.